Bíonn dúil nádúrtha aning de gná ceangal speisialta a dhéanamh le duine faoi leis sa tail.
I thought it was an ambulance, but it was the fire brigade. So I just thought it was one of the plugs. It was after catching on fire.
Le duine a hawlaí míid go mbeidh gael agus saol lán le grág an leo. Ach tarlíonn sé go raibh vinnig, gur bé a bhallairte Harlín, go háirithe a gás na man, go searagan an gael agus go mbíonn dorchadas agus foréigean a gceist.
Bhí uafás mór, brón mór muintir na háite, nuair coolla mé an tanam an nuacht nuair mé ábalta a creadúnt.
An drochúr go háirithe a gás na man, is minic nach é an grógach faoin leaba ceartdóibh agla bheith ar ribhe, ach an fear ina leaba féin.
I just knew that he had something to do with it. And I told him, like, what did you do?
Máthair ógs na trochadaí le trúr páiste a bhí in Olivia Dunlea, agus bhí buint mhórici leis a bobal thart ar his sa pasáiste, baile beag imil hirthas char chorcaí.
Olivia, ban a bheithí I bhí sa trochadaí, bhí sin a chonaí sa pasáiste.
Tá pasáiste de bhíle ó lár na carachansa I Gorcaig agus baile ann féinige le pobl bríomhar gníomha comma. Bhíoh tradiisiún anna láidir ó thaobh na mara agus ó thaobh an chúin sa pasáiste, séir a bhís fadantóireachta trasna an chúin go cómh comma, ach le déana dhéanais raidmha fostíochta le fáil, hísan san an íochtar an chúin os na déantúisí agus íochta go léir.
Passage is such a small place, everyone knows each other down there.
No, tá na tithe Garda céile, so de bhíoch aithne I gach éine ag Winter Dunlea. Tháinig clown Dunlea isteach sa pharóiste seo, baile an lucha, sna hochtadaí. Tháinig Olivia isteach sna man rangana, dalta áling a baí, canasta, diagrisisiach, glacsi páirt I ngacrod, bhíoch mangam ar a béal an tam ar fad, agus bhaintí tanmh as an saoil.
She was my oldest sister. We were very close. Olivia moved to Passage when she got married, and I moved to Passage because Olivia was there. But I lived there then with my children.
Olivia was always happy, lived alone for her children. She loved her children. She during the night to drive them would come into the bed to her. I often said you should get a big, huge queen-size bed. There's no need for the bed for them because they loved her.
She was always focused on us, or how to have fun days with us and how to make our memories great. One of my favourite is that she told my brother I was going to my friend's house. She left my two brothers at home with my dad. She said, I'm dropping Megan over to her friend's house and then I'm going to pop out for an hour. But we went on a secret shopping trip. So then we had to hide the shopping bags when we came back because obviously they couldn't know that we went just the girls. But it was always how to better us and how to give us a great life in a childhood.
They were happy out there, and it's a lovely area. You know, they had great neighbours, and Olivia was always involved. She actually started up a youth club there with a few of us. And she was always involved in the area, you know. And she ended up, she was working in the creche in Passage West as well. And I mean, I used to do a few gigs in the pub down the road, and she'd come down to that. And she'd have a few drinks, and she might come up and sing Love Me. That was her favourite song. And yeah,
Things were going well, really, for a long time.
Olivia used to spend an awful lot of time in my house, and I used to spend a lot of time in her house, and I was due my daughter around that time, so we were together all the time. She was just always there.
Ag Darren na bliana ghavíle sa dóiag, hí Olivia Dunlea as cahir Corcaí, máthir tracha sé blian díis agus trúrpáisteice. Tris tosú chaidrih le Darren Murphy, fear da níos chéana, I bhí marachtáil sa basáiste, áidir raibh Conaí Olivia.
Bhí Olivia ag siúlamach ag an am sin le fear dar bhainm Darren Murphy. Bhí siad ag siúlamach le chéile beidir gá bhí, beidir beagán níos mó.
I didn't like him from the start, to be honest, and I think Olivia knew that. I think Olivia views it as kind of a casual relationship, whereas he was kind of getting more deep into the relationship. I don't think it was that serious as what he was kind of making out. Olivia had her life, her children were her life.
Ása sí an cadrib seo le Darren Murphy. Bhí aithnicí rihré. Bhíidir na mothúcháin anna dhíon agus anna láidir agus beidir gradar garagón cuiminic is in a héad sin.
Ceapan go le lán ahrú tréis tacht ar an ceist fééis dálcaireacht agus is dóchan ar tuiscint agus an tuiscint atá muíonn sin sa glúidir fééis dálcaireacht. Tá is a gung inis gúil stalcéireacht feared an séireach agus na rudí beaga, na písí beaga nuair bhfuil siad géirí smacht a chur de héal an Ainsley, nó bhfuil siad a fara ort, nó bhfuil siad ag cumad, camera, nó picture, nó de social media, de phone, má bhfuil siad ag leanúin tú timpeall agus is dócha ag cumad súlairt. Tá is a gung gúil sin feared an séireach.
None of us were a fan of him. He was very obsessive about Olivia. He was clung to her all the time.
Bhí achtar bháin a bhí anna eisteach ar fad lá le Valentine agus nuair a tháinig Olivia Rashgrín tach bhí sé lán le breagáin boga teddy bears as mar sin de. Ach níor thig Olivia chun sa hála sé seo mar níor thig sí gur ochrair tuga a cé dá Darren don tach.
I think he was obsessed with her. Because if she came up here, he'd be ringing, where are you? And then he'd come in. And anywhere she was, he'd follow her. Now, we didn't know at the time that he was be parked outside our house during the night.
I remember her telling us that he wanted to be her boyfriend. And I remember her saying, I want to sit you down, I want you to meet him because I want you to be on board if this was going to go forward. From the minute she sat us down saying, is it okay if I go into a relationship? He was always around. He would come to my nana's if we just called up to my nana's house. He'd be at home with us. If she went over to my aunt's house for a cup of tea or anything, he was always there, always around. And if he wasn't in the house, he was texting her.
Bhín cumar an scíal go raibh Darren gafa go mór le agus go raibh sé á leanúint agus I géirí sais bheith cinnte de ná raibh sí ag siúlamach le aon duine eile nua le héad sin. Beidir go léirigh sé sin níos mó maiall có mí thucair sa bhí Darren in na héal féinnig ná ise, ná aon maiall Olivia.
Now that I'm older, I know that's not normal. That's not a healthy relationship.
Olivia was a very kind-hearted person. She gave everyone a chance, and she gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. And it was the ruin of her in the end, really.
An séú lá déag da bhí fiabhra ghavíle sa trídeag, bhí Olivia tris cúna bhhuairt daidir fuair Ann teachta bhaile ón ospidéal lena leanahí nua bherthe. An ihe sin, dag sí a cuid páistí féin lena dir fuair Amanda ag teach an máthair a mailen locha. Agus go sí amach ag an Rochestown Inn, Gardaí teach féin sa basáiste le Darren Murphy.
Bhí ar siúlamach le sríú 8 seachtain an nuas. Agus dúildir le chéile agus fuaidir deochnú go dig tarna agus ina dhéag sin níos sa léir go thomlánaí céir de hála.
An ihe seo an seachtaile díag feabhra bhíidir le dul amach le chéile go dtí tig tarna dar bhain de Rochester in nach chuil ráda utha agus hánig siad an eis go tig Olivia agus de réir ancient Darren Murphy dag sé ag an dorasaí agus chúise bhaile.
My mum was staying with me in my house to give me a hand, and I got a missed call from Olivia. I walked to feed Charlotte, my daughter, and I had a missed call, but I hadn't heard the phone ringing at all. So when I tried to ring Olivia back, the phone was off. So I tried multiple times, but then I rang Darren Murphy's phone, and he answered and told me Olivia's house was on fire. And I went straight to Olivia's house, and the house was up in flames.
I thought it was an ambulance, but it was the fire brigade. So I just thought it was one of the plugs. It was after catching on fire.
The fire brigade and the guards were there, and there was a crowd starting to form outside.
I got a call here about 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it was Mendy. And she said, look, Dad, she says, Olivia's house is on fire and she's missing. So I didn't know what to think. I was in shock. So got out of bed, of course, got into the car, drove the passage.
It was like something in slow motion, to be honest, I think from shock. I could see the smoke coming out through the roof of her house. The window had just broken, her bedroom window. There was smoke everywhere, it was chaos. And I just approached him straight away because I knew straight away Olivia's house. Like, I just knew that he had something to do with it. So I had an argument with him outside the house. And I told him, like, what did you do?
Nudge go chuise te spántas dord caidán dramatúr siúl. Agus hiúanig puinte bháin, tar síl sé dolisteach sa tíg chun acalín mar ó séide a hárháile sa húrtamach.
An fearan son ag hiistú maiálar cad a hála is sa stáisiún na Gardaí. Agus mar hampla bhí sé ag túir le fis. Bhí sé ag mar hampla chur gléichanna Olivia le líon an aglah leis na Gardaí álas go raibh sí fós beo.
Firemen went around the house and they eventually found her body. And I think the ceiling was after collapsing in on top of her.
Dús ceap na hódarrás a chathairthe agus na Gardaí agus an patólaí stáit ag an nám Marie Cassidy. Ceap siad gur bála go raibh tatín sa labba ag Olivia agus gur chuig an tig trehinne maiálar sin agus gur be sin an údar a bás. Ach ní chreid muintear Olivia sin riamh.
Ag buinte seo, hasig scéalta maidir leis an méid a hárlad Olivia a scapa sa geantar.
Wesley Banshaw sé blian deis a Ginny a ja a gondai chorcaí luar mágin, mai hertúr clunní, há sí an chinní hartar lehanne I hín sa cha in an fásaiste sa chundai sin, tá Pachali an stéit an Dr. Marie Cassidy ag ginú scuúdú iarweis ar chorpnam le, tan le her cíbní agus tan na Gardaí a mon fisrithe fa chúis na chinní.
Bhí uafás mór, brón mór muintear na háite, I basáiste, agus I mailean locha, tuisgur dás suas I mailean locha. Ní raomar ábailte a creadúnt in éair gur tharla rudú fásach mar seo dar iarscoláire Olivia nuair a cúla mé an tanam ar an nuacht ní raomar ábailte a creadúnt.
I'll never forget it when we had to tell the children she was gone. It was horrendous.
Adrian was up there and I went up. So the kids were in bed. So Adrian said he was going to go up and have a chat. So I followed him up like. And sorry. I never forget the bawling over the kids, like it was unreal, you know.
We were downstairs and all you could hear was the children just screaming. It was just horrific. Having to tell them what had happened. Like, as far as they were concerned, their mother had died in an accident in the house fire. Like, there's nothing you can say to console them. Like, what are you meant to say to her children? There was nothing we could say to them. Like, we didn't even have clothes to dress them with or to help them with. Everything was just destroyed.
When we first found out, we weren't told the whole story. We were told, oh, there was a fire. And automatically, because my dad was there, I thought maybe it was my grandparents' house because my dad was there to tell us. But my brother, Aaron, said, oh, is Mom okay? And that's when it clicked, okay, it's not my grandparents, it's the house and passage. And I remember my dad just crying. And then it clicking that, okay, my mom's passed away.
It was carnage, you know. We were panicking, we were traumatised, we had just found out. But we knew. It was the first thing we said. There wasn't a doubt in our minds, none of us, that this was an accident of any way, shape or form.
Sna leihananta ina dhé sin, beléir agus fisrúcháin na Gardaí forbairt agus a treisiú, nar a bhéin timpist an méid a hála d'Olivia.
De réir mar Ian Marie Cassidy scrúdú ar bháis Olivia, fuair síach go raibh sí treis fesáte sé an óra sa cheann agus sa bhuineáil.
Is fitrúchan dúnhairichet an is bon ag na Gardaí faoin eachtar hála sa busáiste sa Gardaí. Tá fearns na trichadaí fós a cheistú Gardaí a gurca faoi bhás Olivia Dunlea.
Hírod a hála nuair a hanig an petálaí stáid gur hiag sí siúd láideach nach tragóide bhíonsa mar bhísacha ón méid éon oxíd carbón a bhí scábhóga Olivia go raibh sí ina bheithaigh nuair a bhíon tiag trí hine agus de hispáinte sin nach tragóid tobisteach a bhí ann ach rud a bhd éir na chunig sí comma do chunig sí na créachta ar a caul agus bhísacha insan gur marú nó dúnmharú a bhí gist.
We didn't know where to go from then. It was a lot, like our family were very supportive. My mother's house was full of family and friends that were there for us. But the guards were in and out. We were trying to hold each other up and we were trying to protect the children.
Díag níag tháinig mion fiúntaí an scéal amach agus bhí Olivia dúnmhairthe agus bhí sé just go thuásach ar fad. Máthair, séimh, deas, carthanach, galgáireach, sciúpa óna lenaí, islí có uafásach sin.
We were appointed a victim liaison officer. So when the liaison officer came, she was explaining what had happened and that the investigations were being carried through. And she said there was nothing definite, that they were interviewing Darren Murphy. And I think I kept saying to the guard, saying, I know he did it. Like, what's the point in just leaving him, you know, sit in his own house when you know that he's after murdering my sister? So I think it was about 11 o'clock on that Sunday night that the guard rang and she had told me that he had been arrested for the murder of Olivia. And even that was horrific, and there was more to come after that.
Gardaí Darren Murphy a thuirtisteach chun é cheistú go hefigiúil. Tháinig bora ar na hiarachtaí a bhí an éanamh acu, maidir le fáil amach go díreach an méid a hála, ihe an taobh lá déag, agus go moch maidan an tachtú lá déag de bhí fiabhra 2013.
Dob as a stúim féin dhí mig Darren Murphy go dtí na Gardaí agus dúirt sé leo go raibh sé sásta cóibbrú leo i gnáam. An chéad rud íon sin ná gur tharigh sé a chunéadaí féin dos na Gardaí le scrúdú dlíolaíochta a chur ortha. Ach an son díon na Gardaí checkáil CCTV a bhí lasma den tictárne, is do chunicidir gur bíad éadaí eile fad a bhí a chahabh ag Darren Murphy an íhas an seachas na éadaí a bhí tuca ag dóibh leis an scrúdúí an a bhara.
Hána sé chutálas gur thug Darren Olivia go dtí an Rochester insan ina chár féinnig. Ach go fuair taxi ar nais go dtí tig Olivia. Agus thug Darren le fios go raibh siad ag aragóint in san taxi agus ag glic choras Olivia agus gur thug sé an taxi leis bhaile an son go dtí hic féin.
Because he's supposed to have left her at the front door. But then he went in and she told him get out. Obviously he didn't. Then the knife was down over the block from the kitchen, and that's what he'd stabbed her with. Stabbed her 6 or 7 times in the neck, paralysed her. Set the place on fire. And off he went.
Tréis an nachtra in san tig nuair a bhí Olivia fácaige agus an tig tré héine ar an tine ag tasnú agus í sáit agus chana bheith ábhalt a boga. Thug sé gluisteán Olivia go dtí an Rochester in. Cha sé na hocha de gluisteán Olivia isteach sa srathán ba gurada agus thug sé a gluisteán héine go bhaile.
He drove a backcountry road up behind where Olivia lived and looked down to make sure the house caught on fire. He sat in the car watching.
And if he had the guts to call an ambulance or a doctor, I don't care if she was disabled for the rest of her life. She could have been here with us, and we'd have watched her and looked after her. But the bastard left her die. He burned her alive.
An son nuair a tháinig sé chuntalas nuair a bhí tuairisciú á dhéanamh go raibh dóitáin ag tig Olivia. Tháinig sé do gluisteán hénig go dtí tig Olivia agus thosa sé ag bhéic scradig tá mar charína sig sa tig sin chahamad dul isteach gus pérodé chun í hábháil ag an am sin gan áras bhí sé ródhéanach.
Is na Gardaí a géir cíal a bhaint as hálaide. An drochúir bhí Winter Dunlea sochrid a hochrúd Olivia.
I mean, you think about Olivia's more like that, like, there's her sisters, there's her kids, there's her mother, there's me, and then there's the ripple effect, then, which is massive, like, you know, her friends, her neighbours, all her uncles and aunts, her nephews, nieces, cousins, you know. It's just such a ripple effect. It's unbelievable, really, you know. And that was proven at the funeral with the hundreds and hundreds that turned up, you know. I think we kind of just sailed through it. I mean, I can't even remember a lot of people that were actually there, like. I can't remember a lot of it, like. I really can't. And I mean, for weeks and weeks after. I mean, all I could feel was numbness, really.
I hope we gave her the best send off we could under the circumstances. You know, we just rallied around the children. We just wanted to protect them at all costs. And at the same time, we were trying to hold each other up. With the shock that our Olivia had been taken from us.
Tháinig muintear an fearóiste le chéile I gcóir sochrid Olivia. Bhí an Espial lán go doras. Bhí muintear bhaile an lucha ann agus muintear an fasáiste. Bhí sort ciúnas sa Espial mar bhí sé chomh deacair sin I gcóir gach aine tuiscint a bhaint amach an tragóid uafásach seo a bhí tar éis tarlú do Winter Dunlea. Is iad na mothúcáin a bhí ag muintir an feróiste tar éis an tragóid seo ná brón, farag, uafás agus trua is tóca. Meascáin den na mothúcáin sin. Ní raibh ábailte é a thuiscint. Chalín áling mar dúirt mé ben áling agus ísciúpa ón na páistí ón na leanaí.
I think Darren was 9. I think Megan was about 10 and a half. And Aaron was 12, the eldest boy. Now, he made his confirmation 2 weeks after.
Coming to terms with losing your mum alone is huge, but then we realised we have nothing. We had the clothes that were on our backs because we were staying in my nana's house that night. Everything was destroyed. All our toys, all our clothes, anything we had left from our childhood, almost everything was destroyed, and we had nothing.
And I swore I'd never put my leg in Passage again, and I didn't. I've no business down there.
I mealtaine rámhíle a ceithrdíag, chuirtar Darren Murphy faoi chrial maidir le dúnmharú Olivia. Pléidálann sé nachionntach as dúnmharú, ach ciontach as dún organ.
We went to the Central Criminal Court in Dublin, and the first day of the trial was actually the first time we had found out how Olivia was murdered. They weren't able to tell us for obvious legal reasons. We had seen it in news headlines and that, but no one was able to confirm to us until the first day of the murder trial how she was actually murdered.
It's only when you're sitting in the actual courtroom and you're listening to people talking about your sister that you realise how horrific it is. You know, I think they forget that the family are actually there listening sometimes, and sometimes you'd love to just stand up and say, you're actually talking about my sister, Olivia.
It was horrendous. We went in, as always, holding each other up. My mum and dad and my sister and myself, we had to hold each other up. We had to leave my children and Olivia's children in Cork, which is the last thing we'd ever want to do. We had to go to Dublin, sit there and look at him, sitting there, trying to look pitiful. He'd put his head down when the judge and jury came in to sit, but as soon as they'd be excused, he'd sat back, relaxed, stared at us, no remorse whatsoever. He's as cold as ice. He has no remorse for what he did to my sister.
Fléidáil sé neamhcheantacht den dúnmharú ach ceantacht den dúnargan faoin siú úsáid as an gos an sppraige ag rá de réir argáint a tharla atara mar le hir leanán Olivia Dunlea chail sé smacht héin go thomláin go tuban agus go sealadach agus dá réir sin cé gur mhairg sé Olivia Dunlea ní dúnmharú a raibh gceist agus dúnargan dar nó ceantá leis an núnmharú ó thaobh an dlí de.
It was the hardest thing that we ever had to sit through. Because you're sitting there and his evidence was dragging Olivia's name through the mud. That's all he had to go on. And it was all eyes, obviously.
He made it out as if Olivia was up and down with everyone in Passage West, and that there was another man calling to the house on the night, and that she was undressing just to get ready for another man in the house.
Is cosint RC cosint an sppraige agus tá sé diléir can ginach in riir ceaptar beidir go dang sé as réna górach in ús acna na Bratna éireach argóntí nó asaontia idir bhuiil den ús acna agus socríochíd le foréigen nó le tridan na gonaí agus dá réir sin ceapach gur rud úsal agus gur rud cheadia agus gur rud córé na argóntí hocrú dá réir sin agus mar thura air sin ceapach nár cheart é dúnmharú a líomhnú a gcuine duine éigent dá bhár.
There was no proof whatsoever that Olivia had ever been in touch with another man. But if she was, or 100 other men, he had no reason to touch a hair on her head.
And I mean, we had to sit there, listen to Mary Cassidy, telling us what he did to my child. And he didn't bat an eyelid.
I'm like, he stabbed her and she was still alive. And he said, the last thing that she said was, what about my children? And he still went ahead and set the bed on fire and Olivia alight, because his thoughts on that were that he didn't want the children to find their mother stabbed in the bed the next morning, but it was okay if he just got rid of her body. And, you know, I'm like, we couldn't even see Olivia's body. He destroyed her body. Like, the mentality there is just, like, you actually wouldn't do it to a dog.
Bhí an gclíodóir ar son an Stáit, Thomas Creed, bhí sé siúd ag túr le fios. Go bhíothach Darren Murphy tríis gléocha chur na sibhí sé éigeadála nuair a bhíon tine ar siúl chun tacht agus iarrachtaí a bheith Olivia hábháil, ach níor dhéann sé sin.
Chuir ar a thrial fé chrí an chéadúir for ciúntach den dún bharú ag a chúisig a chorc chun na cuirte a chorc cuiirúil, agus ceadach an tá chorc sin de bhór cinach gnearn an brethebh léanta cearnaí botún agus é ag déanamh san léirú den ioré den difriocht ar dún bharú agus dún argan, agus do réir sin cealaíoch an firas dún bharia agus chuir carnáis don ordchúirte chun tríal eile a ré.
So we were devastated. We were just putting ourselves back together, coming home and putting our arms around all the children in our family, there's no normal anymore. Time doesn't heal anything. You just learn to live with it. It's like a weight on your shoulders every single day from the time you open your eyes to the time you close them. Every happy occasion is lonely because she's not there. And then we got hit with the appeal, and then had to do it all over again.
Interaig, le hachork is a tríalacha de hir dar lo. Is mór an tólach intine de winter Dunlea an proses Dlea fad.
We'd have no experience of courts or anything like that. We didn't realise it would go on and on and on.
Soon after being sentenced to life behind bars, Darren Murphy lodged an appeal. Today, that appeal got underway here at the Court of Criminal Appeal, with his legal team arguing that certain evidence submitted at the last trial should not have been allowed to go before the jury.
It's terrible. We don't have to wait for Christmas at all. Every day is terrible for us and our 3 poor children. You ruined all our lives. And it's very hard, like, to hold back. But we done it for Olivia. Her children were very young at the time. But we had to tell them eventually. Obviously, they were heartbroken. And when we used to be going to Dublin, we said we have a meeting in Dublin. And I remember one morning, Megan's dad dropped us to the station. She said, Nana, can I go with you? I said, you can't, girl. There's no children. My heart was breaking. It came to the stage that we were after hiding papers, the Evening Echo now, and we wouldn't have the television on for the news, and, you know, trying to protect them. But as they got that bit older then, we had to say it. And there's no easy way of saying it. And we told them anyway, but sure, back to square one then again, like.
We were so young, we were trying to grieve our mom, but there was a constant reminder of everything that happened. Everyone wanted to protect us the best way that they could, but we were going to be going into new schools and meeting new people that I imagine it was hard for them to protect me and Aaron and Dara.
Darren Murphy was given compassionate temporary release to see his dying parent, and it absolutely sickens me that any prisoner that's in there for murder would be entitled to anything of the sort. He was allowed to say goodbye to his dying mother. That was a luxury we didn't get. I said goodbye to my sister with a 4-day-old baby in my arms and 3 young children, thinking she'd be over the next day. She was so excited because she adored my children and worshipped the ground of her own 3. I said goodbye to my sister casually that day, not knowing that I'd never see her again. And we shouldn't have had to. At 36 years of age, you shouldn't be saying goodbye to anyone.
In mealtaine 2016, cuirtar Darren Murphy faoi shrial an ahúr, tris gan I rian in a chéad achorg, the horra fáhanna technúla tlí.
De bhar go raibh an achorc an céad tríal cadathe tu go gundara tríal na Darren Murphy. Agus an rud a hálan son ná ní raibh an iúra ábhla tacht bre éon cho gur gúnmhairg sé Olivia.
An tarna uair deasaonta gon gúirí, níor deithneoracha in ann éon tú chéamháin nó an déobheile gúnmharú nó gon organé.
An ceannas nóirí leis an cás seo ná gur dhéanach an cosam gur chail sé smacht ar hain agus gur dhéan siise é sin na gréasa. Conas ar réon sé linne, conas ar réon sé leis an sochaí nuair a chuirn míad an millán ar an duine atá dúnmhairthe. Gur in éonslí iarsaí, gur in éonslí go bhfuil an millán orthaí.
So mar sin de bhí an tríal ann.
Bhí scéal Olivia I lár ar gríthe ar scoilmhar I Lourdes agus I baróiste bhaile an lucha an tá mar fad in áíire idir 2013 agus 2020. Idir na blianta sin tharla 3 tríal agus 2 achorc. So gach uair a bhí ceandaí a bheith siúil, bhí mion fiúntaí an scéal ag tucht amach ar an nuacht agus sna papéir an tá mar fad. So de bhí sé le cloisteáil ag na leanaí agus iad fás sós, ní raibh éon sus acu an tá mar fad. Is mar sin a bhí sé dúin comach. Bhí is a gin cad a bhí ar siúil. So de bhí muintear na háite ag leanúnt an cás agus ag brathnú orthú agus ag túir tacaíocht dóibh an tá mar fad.
An uair sin de fuairú cionta go rí sé a chu ríis de chas Murphy ar an aragóint maiall ar an mnuga a ríis agus bégan dóibh athir gan tarna ceann a dhéanamh an san de héisteach leis an gás san sa bhíon fethe in the san.
Chúla an gúirí cosint an chosantóra gur spreagach é agus gur chún organ seachas dúnmharú bhí gist níorchlach an gúirí leis sin ciontíochas dúnmharú ag.
Ach an báltasa de bhuaig an stáid agus fuaireag Murphy ciontach agus is a gúnmharú a bhí sé ciontathe, ní ar gún orglan.
Do bhar bhuaig sesin gur ceadaíoch fíne sé droch charachtar ina cuine nóir ceart a ligan isteach in sa tríal ardchuirte, níorchlach an chuirta charc leis sin, agus dó réir sin gearc Pinot Sail agus tá an Pinot Sail de bhar dúnmharú fós á chahabhige I brísún na léantasa.
Their hearts are broken over him, dragging us through all this. And he's the only one that was there. He murdered her. So thank God we got justice now today.
Darren Murphy didn't react as the decision was handed down today and he was led away to serve out the remainder of his life term.
We were satisfied that he was found guilty, but it's no consolation to us. We don't get Olivia back. 7 years of our lives not being able to grieve for my sister, having to fight for justice for her, 7 long years. She'll be gone 12 years next February, and we have it all over again now with parole.
In 2025, agus chábhlíonn déag san omláin caiiteige sa brísún, idir bheith faoi choiníal agus daortha. Beidh cad ag Darren Murphy churisteachar farúil.
Nor a tugad Darren Murphy os cór na cuairte an chiad lá riamh, but téir me 7 mbliana a bhí ann ag an uair sin go bhíodach duine dul a lorg paróil. Ach tá an dlí san ahra áin, 2 bliain diaag atá inis ann, ach chiaadh gomach inis go bhíodach Darren Murphy an paróil éirí go giún bliana. Rod a chuiras go mór a stóliam de clán Olivia nor a bhí cadige siúd tactamach leistigh déan bliana bháin, sa frísún le cóbhá, le cuairt cóbhá a bhairt rilig do gine muinter leis, ach gur cheapadar go raibh sé sin róbhog ar fad éon frísúnach a bhí istíigh maiall ar gún varú.
You go in for justice, but you come out with the law. And the law will have to be changed. Because I'm saying it every day of the week. Why should he come out of there? And everybody else that murdered someone belonged to them would agree with me. Why should they walk the streets? And if they met someone and didn't know their background, what's to say that they won't do it to them?
Mar le prísún síl, ní gágneach an duine sin I brísún le feige héal. Ceaptar agus creidtar ag gur fiú deis a chuirtóibh athláán nua dhéanamh. Má gearach prísún sílart tá tú an ann parúil lurg tar éis 2 bliain déag. Ní chilíonn sé sin go bhaid tú parúil tar éis 2 bliain déag, ach tá tú an ann lurg.
He'll be in there now 12 years in February, so parole will be, yeah, we're expecting that next. And we'll stand up and fight that as well. Because all we can do for Olivia now is get justice for her. I want her remembered and I want him recognised. I have no doubt in my mind he'll re-offend. I want every woman to recognise his face for what he is, a murderer that took the life of a young mother of 3 young children.
If he went back to Passage West, the thought of him now being around Cork even, and Olivia's 3 children, like they're grown adults now, they're going to have their own families. They don't want to be meeting their mother's murderer. Like, they've been through enough torture now. He's destroyed their lives. He's taken away their mother.
He's the reason I have to visit my mum at a grave. I don't think that you can take good behaviour and things like that into it with him being in prison, when he's in prison because he took somebody's life.
Tá muintir Dunlea go dtí an látá nuamhain. Géireadh cíal agus biseach crí éigean to bhaint as cás tragóideach Olivia.
Yeah, it's the graveyard where Olivia is buried. A lot of our relatives are buried here as well. But it's close to our house, so we come here every week just to visit the grave and to bring flowers. Yeah, it just feels very lonely, you know. It's just another, you know, every week you just, well, we think for every day, but I think it's just, it doesn't get any easier when you come out and visit the grave, you know. We should be visiting her in our own home, not at her grave.
It's heartbreaking. She should be going out now, we're out shopping, and with our children and her grandchild. It's not the circle of life to bury your child. So it doesn't get any easier.
Is cás anna ragódacha agus léiríonse rud atá sa léir an san tíorseach go bhfuil maná faoi bhagart a gcónaí nuair atá fear nó pártaí atá fréigeanach agus maistíneach agus le héad sin. Is léir ó cásanna an ásan nó a tharla Olivia Dunlea an tragóda bhasach sin an bhfástú bhasach sin bhfuil bagart down ó fear na hÉireann.
Tá sa going on a statistic the maná will for aigen denta ortha agus go bhfuil siad dúnmhairthe. Tá is agin de 8 fáin géadas na maná sin an éireann a ró dúnmhairthe is den éigen is partner nó ar partner a dhéanaan dúnmhairthe sin den éigen or anthe cá orthú beagnach a gcónaí. Tá muid a cainte den éigen tá hana cá orthú.
Sometimes I think to have as part of this, you know, you get on with your life as best you can. And you enjoy yourself as much as you can. But you know, you'll be there. I mean, I love music and sessions and all that. And you're there, you're having the great crack and you're enjoying yourself. But then it's like someone taps you on the shoulder, you know, kind of like saying to you, like, why are you happy? Like, you're not entitled to be happy, you know. And I find that hard.
I don't think I'll ever accept that she's gone. And I hope I don't either. I don't think after 11 years it has hit me yet. And I don't want it to either. We're devastated. Life will never be the same.
I'm a mother now to a beautiful little boy, Thomas. And it did make it so much harder not having her here. But I know she's with me. She was with me every step of the way. I know that if she was here, she'd be obsessed with Thomas. She'd be so happy. She loved kids. She would have been so happy to have her first grandchild. And I think she'd just be really proud that she's worked so hard to make us into great people and that we're following in her footsteps.
That it has affected us. Like, all of us have changed so much since it has happened. So I think I just want us to be happy. And I think Olivia would want us to be happy as well.
The way my mum and dad held us together as a family, they're just so strong. They're just fantastic people. And the way they cope since Olivia died shocks me, because they're still just so loving and good people, and they keep us all strong. My sister, she's excellent to Olivia's children. We just all hold each other up.
We'll endure it for the rest of our lives. And since Thomas came along, now her grandchild, it's a milestone, but at the same time, she's not physically here to see him. But hopefully she's looking at him, because she'd have loved him. And there's not a day or an hour that we don't think of her. Our hearts are broken.